Okay. Right. Now, okay, anyway, guess what? The theme for 2025 is rising higher, growing deeper. The theme for June is in living color. Woo! Let's hear it for color. Okay. And today's topic is in living color. Mr. Ernest Holmes wrote these uplifting words. It should be considered right to live and enjoy living, to be well, happy, and to express freedom is to be in accord with divine law and wisdom. That's just the way it is, kids. So let us affirm together. I fully embrace the spectrum of my human experience. Yes. So I invite all of us to fully embrace Dr. Reverend Kathleen's message today. All right.
That beautiful quote deserves to be repeated by Ernest Holmes. It should be considered right to live and to enjoy living, to be well, happy, and to express freedom is to be in accord with divine law and wisdom. Let's really allow that to sink in. This is our birthright to enjoy living. And choosing is a big part of this. Choosing, even in the midst of life challenges, choosing this thing called joyful living. That used to be the name of our center before we became part of Centers for Spiritual Living, Center for Joyful Living, because it's so important. It's such an important value of this community. So this month is Pride Month. And so what I want to acknowledge is that choosing to be well, happy, and express freedom has been quite challenging and continues to be challenging for our beloved LGBTQ friends and community. And to acknowledge that in spite of all of that, facing persecution, violence, and even imprisonment, sometimes even death, this particular community to me has stood as a vibrant example of what it means to choose joy, choose love, choose peace, choose creative expression, choose freedom. And therefore, the LGBT plus community has been and continues to be associated with color, fun, dance, music, and celebration. Yes? I agree. I agree. I trust you agree with me. Yes, yes, yes. It's so wonderful. So it's lovely to be able to dedicate a month to all of you, just in full embrace and love for who you are. And also to be aware that the great diversity of life itself is included in this as well. All of the different ways that each one of us show up and shine our light and share who we are, our gifts and talents with one another, because it makes the world so much more colorful and vibrant. So we as a community, therefore, are committed to being well, to being happy, and to being free. Let's breathe that in. Just say, I am well, I am happy, I am free. I am well, I am happy, I am free. Lovely. So the three things I want to talk about today are choosing heaven, over the rainbow and in living color. So choosing heaven. I'm going to start with just using our imaginations. If dogs were able to write letters to God, what would they be like? And there's actually online, there's a whole bunch of them, but the ones I wanted to choose were these. Dear God, when we get to heaven, can we sit on the couch? Or is it the same old story? Dear God, when we get to the pearly gates, do we have to shake hands to get in? Dear God, are there mailmen in heaven? If there are, will I have to apologize? So choosing heaven. In the old traditional way of looking at heaven, it was some place that you go to after this life. This life is whatever it is, living hell or whatever, and then you go to heaven. But the mystical teachings, this is not only in Science of Mind, but the mystical teachings of the world have recognized that heaven is within, and Jesus was one of the great mystics that proposed this and taught this. The kingdom of heaven is within. It's a state of consciousness, a state of mind that's inherent in our being. It's our innate nature. It's our essential nature. And we get to choose it, therefore. We get to draw upon it, even in the face of appearances of what's going on in our lives. This helps us to reground ourselves in our spiritual nature and to learn to come from that. And I'm not going to say it's always easy, because I've certainly had my challenges recently with that. But there are 10 key principles that we teach. And Dan's going to put them up on the board, on the screen for us. These are in the back of all of our new curriculums for Science of Mind. 10 key spiritual principles. And if you look at them, oneness, love, creation, threefold nature, creative process, spiritual laws, spiritual beings, freedom. There's heaven. Heaven is a principle. It's a state of mind. And this is what it actually says along with that in the back of our curriculums. Oh, here it is. It's over here. Heaven is a state of awareness of our true nature. We experience our true nature to the degree that we become conscious of it. We actively seek to know the truth of every individual and celebrate each individual's unique expression of it. This experience of our true nature is sure to be attained by all. So awareness of our true nature, that we are so much more than these bodies and these thoughts, that we are pure spirit. We are vast, beyond all imagination. We are multidimensional beings. Multidimensional. Great power of creation. The universal mind of God is our mind. I mean, that's the field in which we truly play. So heaven is something we can choose. It's a state of consciousness that we get to choose. It's aligned with all of those qualities that Sharon was leading us in. Love, peace, joy, compassion, abundance, grace. All of that goodness is part of the vibrational field, excuse me, of the kingdom of heaven within. Holmes says we have a right to enjoy living. We have a right to choose this way of this perspective, this way of being. And therefore we have the power to live each day from this place, despite circumstances. Love, joy, and peace are states not only that we can choose, but that we can transcend, therefore, habit patterns that have kept us vibrating in what might be called a state of hell in consciousness. So hell is also a state of mind, not a place, a state of mind. And I've spent much of my life, in fact, I've had my moments when I slip back into it and I have to pull myself back out, where I have thought that my joy depended on external circumstances looking a certain way. Now, how well does that work? We know that it does not work. So my journey in science of mind, which started back when I was age 40, has been about the undoing of all of those ideas that somehow my well-being, my sense of joy depended on things being a certain way in my external world. Ricky Byers has a beautiful song about that. I don't know that if you've heard it or not, but it goes like this. I used to think that I needed somebody, but all I needed was my connection with God. I used to think that I needed some money, but all I needed was my connection with God. And, it goes on from there. So let's breathe. All I needed was my connection with God, that kingdom of heaven within, that state of being that is the source of our joy. So I fairly recently was able to easily choose joy as we were moving throughout our vacation. We spent 17 days in Portugal and Spain with a delightful group of people. There were 21 altogether in our group. And we had this guide that was so amazingly compassionate. His name was Fernando. So compassionate, so loving, so caring. He was like above and beyond all the people that we've experienced up until now. And, I have some dietary challenges, so he was always assured that whenever we went out to a restaurant or something that I had my little piece of gluten-free bread and my dessert, that whether it was fruit or whatever, that worked for me. The whole entire vacation was, and then we had lovely places to visit. We had history to discover and learn about, and wonderful museums like the Guggenheim to explore. We had time in the mountains to hike, and the Pyrenees, and just so much good. And then on the way home, in the plane, everything was fine. Got off the plane. My daughter picked me up. We got caught in a traffic jam with lots of pollution and stuff, and I started getting symptoms. Before I knew it, I was in a full-blown sense of incredible pain in my head, my ears, etc. Incredible, excruciating, exhausting pain, which I tried to, take care of myself and do the best I could, but it kept getting worse. And finally, on Memorial Day, I went into urgent care and saw a doctor and started on some antibiotics, which I tried to avoid, but it was bad. It was really bad. And so my point here in telling you this is that I had some huge challenges, a lot of frustration, and then I don't know what happens to you, but when I'm in a lot of pain like that, there is a tendency to start vibrating with lower frequency thoughts. And so it was an ongoing choose and re-choose that I was involved in the midst of all of that, to continue to re-choose, to continue to use my spiritual tools, to continue to do my best to uplift myself, to ask for prayer. This is where these spiritual teachings are invaluable, because It can be, I get it. It can be very challenging with certain circumstances in this time-space reality experience that we're all involved in. And fortunately, here I am. I'm much better. And I'll just say it seemed like a long haul for me to continue to choose heaven over and over and over again and find myself being pulled back into a hellish state of mind. But always there was this part of me, and I understand that's a part of me. Always there's this part of me though that is awake and aware, that's noticing what's going on. That's the divine part. That is my true nature, not part, it's my true nature. In the midst of all that, is able to witness those thoughts and that consciousness and say, okay, enough. Enough hanging out in misery. It's time to come out of this and let's do something about this. So it's not about spiritual bypass. I have learned that. So I allow myself to feel those feelings, notice where they are, and then to choose to remember my truth. And I don't know what's happening. Yeah, we put new batteries in it, and also to choose heaven, and to choose to reclaim my power from thought patterns and beliefs that are not serving me. It's choosing. It's a choice. It's freedom. Yes. So choosing truth, choosing heaven is the way out. Ricky Byers has said it so beautifully. The way in one of her songs, is the way out. The way in is the way out. Doing the inner work is the way we get ourselves aligned with a healthier perspective on life. Over the rainbow. Plus community has found inspiration.
Yes, Kathleen. No, we did change the batteries, but that's a sure sign it's going out. Could you just grab the handheld?
Really? You think these are old batteries?
Something's not working, so
yeah.
go to the handheld.
Okay. I am choosing to be heard no matter what. Okay, over the rainbow. So the LGBTQ plus community, is my deep understanding, has been very touched and moved and inspired by the Wizard of Oz. Is that correct? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So the Wizard of Oz. And the Wizard of Oz, of course, Judy Garland, one of the key songs is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And my understanding is that during a period of time when it was very unsafe to be who they were, the LGBT plus Q plus community would identify themselves as friends of Dorothy. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Right. And then in addition to that, the song became the inspiration behind the LGBTQ plus rainbow flag. And so each color, of course, representing the diversity of sexual orientations and of life. And I think Dan has a picture of it. Yeah. And then in addition to that, in 2018, the flag evolved to include more colors to represent the rest of humanity, which became then a true representation of the celebration of diversity of every kind. So over the rainbow then, when I was contemplating the ultimate message of it, think about how in alignment that is with what our intention is, to be a world that works for all, heaven on earth. There we're bringing heaven in again, a heavenly state of consciousness where all people feel honored for who they are in living color. During the 1880s and 1890s, a man by the name of William Dorsey Swan excuse me, organized a series of secret drag balls in Washington, D.C. He called himself the Queen of Drag. This is how all this originated. Most of the attendees of his gatherings, like Swan, were formerly enslaved men who gathered to dance in their satin and silk dresses to celebrate life. They became known as the House of Swan. And the Evening Star reported that police targeted men in female attire of many colors. Swan and his friends were arrested, but nothing would stop them. They would, once they got back out, they would continue their secret meetings to express who they are. And in fact, they became possibly the very first group in this country to stand for gay rights. Became a symbol of a huge courage. Think of the courage that took in those times, the 1880s and the 1890s. Huge. So can you imagine the courage that gave to many others who were also in that situation? You know, the other people in the LGBTQ community, to begin to stand up for their rights. And it finally culminated, you know, in what we have now in this day and age. I mean, the Pride celebrations that take place during June. And so my call to action for all of you is a call to being examples of living in color in your own lives, each one of us, being the vibrant, radiant expressions of who we are. Excuse me. This is freedom. This is expressing our freedom. This is choosing to be well, choosing to be happy, choosing joy. This is choosing heaven. And so what better way can we all celebrate Pride Month is to join our LGBTQ plus, that's a mouthful, community. and along with them, choose radiant, vibrant self-expression. So let's turn within in prayer. So in the light of truth, in the light of radiant celebration, I speak this word. I speak this word of truth, this word of wholeness, this awareness of the one source, the one life, and the one power that is the fundamental ground of all being, that is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, and omnibenevolent. That presence that I call God. I know that life is therefore my life. It's the life of each and every one of us. And as the life of each and every one of us, we get to choose that which is our highest and fullest radiant expression. I know that as we continue to choose from love, from what brings us joy, what we love, what is ours to give, our ways in which to serve, I know that we are bringing a brighter, brilliant, more technicolor nature to our lives and to the world. And together we truly are creating heaven on earth, a world that works for all. So it is with a heart just full of joy and gratitude and faith and trust that I release this word to the action of universal law, and I let it be. And I invite us to say with enthusiasm, yes, And so it is. Thank you so much.